Leaf fans, we are here, and you guys know what time it is. You guys have read the title already. You know what this video is all about. It's the preseason preview for the 2018-19 Toronto Maple Leafs season, and this season is probably one of the most hyped, if not the hyped season in my life. I am so pumped for this season for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Obviously, with the addition of John Tavares. I'm going to say it again, guys. John Tavares is a Toronto Maple Leaf. I'm never going to get tired of saying that. But with the addition of Tavares, you know, and the loss of JVR and Bozak and Komarov, but I was okay with those guys leaving because the Leafs have these guys that can come up and take those spots. The question arises where this team will go. You know, will they make the playoffs? I'm pretty sure they will. But the question lies after that. How will they do? How far will they go? Who will they play? Well, we can't worry about that right now. People can say, oh, where do you predict the Leafs finishing in April or May or June or whatever they finish? I don't know. This is the great game about hockey. Look at the Tampa Bay Lightning a couple years ago when the Leafs made the playoffs in Matthews' rookie year. That team was hurt so bad, they missed the playoffs. Barely, but they missed the playoffs. The year after, they're healthy, and they're first in the division and first in the league, if I'm not mistaken. If people stay healthy, teams can thrive. If Tavares goes down with injury, touch wood, you never know what can happen with this team. We did it without Tavares last year, but you also had JVR, Bozak, and Komarov. So it's going to be a different scenario this season. Now, obviously, things have been changing around the NHL lately, obviously, with Max Pacioretty being dealt from the Montreal Canadiens. It's hard to say who won that trade as of right now. It all depends on how Nick Suzuki turns out for them, but that's just that. For this Leaf team, I'm going to sit here, guys, and I'm going to talk to you guys about my predictions going into the 2018-19 season. What are my starters? You know, who am I going to have in goal? What are my top 12 forwards looking like? What are my top 6 defensemen looking like? And are there any dark horse guys that I see that I have seen in the Marlies or they have brought over from, you know, from Russia, Sweden, Finland, whatever, that I think can make this team, maybe not out of camp, but at some point in the season? That's what I'm going to talk about as well. So we're going to start off right away, guys, with my lines. And then we're going to start off with goaltending, and this is a big question mark going into the year. We know Freddie's number one. We know that. But who's the backup? You have 3 capable backup goaltenders. McElhinney, Picard, Sparks. Now, a lot of Leaf fans, a lot of people that, you know, don't look into depth about these certain players will say, oh, Garrett Sparks won the Calder Cup for the Marlies. He set all kinds of records down in the AHL. He should be the backup. Now, I agree. But the way Big Mac, Curtis McElhinney, has played with this team since coming over has been stellar. I mean, he had a goals against of like 2.2 yet last year with a .930 save percentage from a backup, and he gave you like 10 wins. A backup. And he's so sound in the net. He doesn't move too much. He does when he needs to, obviously, but he's not too over-dramatic. He makes the saves. He's positionally very well. With Garrett Sparks, though, he's very scrambly. Reminds me a little of James Reimer. He was flopping all over the place back when he was around. I mean, I loved him, but he was flopping all over the place back when he was a Leaf. And with Sparks, I kind of see that same thing. Now, will he end up being a great backup goaltender? Probably. Will it be with the Toronto Maple Leafs? I don't know. Curtis McElhinney is on the last year of his deal. And I think they're going to ride that out. I think Curtis McElhinney is going to be the backup goalie for this team this season. And I think the Leafs are at some point going to look to move Sparks or Calvin Pickard. Calvin Pickard. I think that's what's going to happen. I truly believe that is what's going to happen. But I think obviously Kyle Dubas has a lot more stressful things on his hands with Nylander's contract and the talks of Matthews' contract and Marner's contract and Jake Gardner's contract. All kinds of things going on. So I think that the backup goalie situation isn't really a priority for him right now. But my eyes, I see Curtis McElhinney being the backup this season for the Toronto Maple Leafs. You guys can go nuts and say how you feel about Garrett Sparks being the backup. Hey, I wouldn't be opposed to it. I loved what I saw from Garrett Sparks in the playoffs. But it's the way he plays. It seems a lot more scrambly. And in the NHL, you start scrambling, teams will make you pay really fast. But it's worth the shot, right? So let me know what you guys think. Who are your two starting goalies next year, or I guess two goalies for the Leafs this season in about half a month? I'm jacked up. Now let's get to the interesting part, the forwards. Now, I'm not going to say first and second line, because what's the point? The Leafs don't have a second line. Well, I mean, I guess technically they do, but that is their third line. But they have two number one lines, Matthews, Nylander, and in my eyes, I think they're going to try, at least in preseason, Patrick Marleau. I think they'll give it a shot. I think having him on that line would do a lot for this team. You think about what those three players are, right? Nylander is more of the playmaking passer. Matthews, we thought was the two-way guy. I mean, he still is, obviously, great defender as well. But he's got he scores a ton. That's a given. Patrick Marleau, yeah, he scores a lot. But where he goes is in those grimy, gritty areas in front of the net. Kind of like Zach Hyman, but Marleau finishes better than Zach Hyman. I love Zach Hyman, don't get me wrong. But I think as a goal scorer, Patrick Marleau is better, and I think he will get the nod, at least in Game 1 of preseason, when that line plays together, with Matthews and Nylander, if Nylander gets his contract done sometime soon. I think it won't be a problem. I think he'll be ready for opening night. I think he'll be ready to play some preseason games. I don't think it'll be an issue, but every week that goes by, and there's no contract, I start to think, will it happen? But, assuming it will, there's my 1A line. My 1B line, or 1A, or however you want to say it. John Tavares down the middle. He's a Toronto Maple Leaf, guys. Oh, I love it. Mitch Marner on the right side, and Zach Hyman on the left side. Now, obviously, it's going to be interesting to tell. Obviously, Marleau's the left shot, Hyman's the right shot. So if you look at it from that perspective, it's a different scenario, because Hyman would be playing on the right side if he was with Nylander and Matthews, and Marleau would be playing on the left side. But, guys, I look at Zach Hyman, and I look at that line, and I say, ooh, that might be quite interesting to watch. Hyman is great at getting in the corners, getting turnovers, and getting his team the puck. And if he's on a line with Mitch flippin' Marner, you get that guy the puck, he's a wizard. And oh yeah, Mitch Marner's great at passing the puck. John Tavares is amazing at finishing, and they're on the same line. This might get very fun. Very fast. But those are my first two lines for the Toronto Maple Leafs. I think, look, you could flip Hyman and Marleau. Fine. I don't care. Those are two things that I think they might try in preseason. Will it happen opening night? Probably not. I think it's going to go back to the lines that they were. Of Hyman, Matthews, Nylander, with Marleau, Tavares, and Mitch Marner on the second line. 1B line. Next up, your third line, a.k.a. your second line, Nazem Kadri down the middle, with Andreas Johnsson on the left side, and the right side is where things get really confusing. Will it be Kasperi Kapanen? A lot of people love Kapanen and think he should take that spot. I am one of those people. Other people think Connor Brown should take that spot because they love him. I am also one of those people. I hate this situation. But if I think anybody is going to get that spot, I think it's going to be Kasperi Kapanen. Hear me out. First off, that goal score, that's more of a goal-scoring line. And you have three lines that can score and are not terrible defensively. So that's not a bad situation. Now let's go to the fourth line. Tyler Ennis will probably be on the left side unless somebody in preseason that were done with the Marlies last year or any free agent signing will, knock Tyler Ennis out of that spot. But I think it's his spot to lose. So I think he'll take the left side. I think Par Lindholm is going to be taking the center spot, the great defensive center with pretty good face-offs. I think he's going to be a penalty killer for this team as well. And Connor Brown on the right side. The reason I say that is because Lindholm and Brown will probably be playing together on the PK anyways. I think gaining that chemistry with those two guys and getting the mojo between them cooking, I think would do wonders for that penalty kill. Connor Brown will still get his minutes. He will still get plenty of ice time. And I think Kapanen will still get plenty of ice time. I think you'll see a little bit of power play time, maybe not so much with the two lines being freakish as they are. But I think you could see Kapanen on the PK as well. I think they're both going to have fairly even minutes. It's going to be very interesting to see. But all the players that I just mentioned, there's one guy I left out that is in a very weird, tough situation. Josh Leivo. We talked about it last year about thinking he was going to get traded at some point. Never happened, and all he did was sit in the press box. He re-signed with the Leafs for 1 year during the season, expecting to play at some point. Obviously did not the rest of the season last year. And the way this right-wing core sets up, I don't know how much playing time he's going to get. This is a very, very big preseason for Josh Leivo. I think this is make it or break it for him. I think if he doesn't really perform in preseason, he's gone and traded. That'll be a better situation for him, and the Leafs don't have to worry about a guy in the press box that they want to play but can't play. That's just my opinion on that situation. If you guys think Josh Leivo should play instead of somebody, I think Kapanen might come out once in a while for Josh Leivo, but hey, you guys never know. Mike Babcock loves switching his lines and doing all that crazy stuff, but those are my opinions there. There's also some depth guys that could possibly make the team. Adam Cracknell was one, Josh Juris was another, and that was really about it for the forward core. Again, I can't see much changing, from what I said. I could see things moving around a little bit, but maybe not changing as a whole. I think more or less the forward core is set. Par Lindholm has the center spot locked up for now, but Josh Juris is there. He's listed as a right winger, but I think he might play center. You look at Trevor Moore down in the AHL, Frederick Gauthier. Those are guys that are on the cusp. But will they become a Leaf? I don't know this season. I'm not sure. If Par Lindholm plays well in preseason, I can't see anybody taking his spot. It's going to be very interesting. Now let's get to the spot where Leaf fans love to talk about and say the Leafs have terrible defense. And other times they look terrible. Absolutely. But there's times where every team has terrible defense during a game. It happens. I think you're 1-2 punch, and it's going to be very interesting to tell. I think personally, you got to try Riley Zaitsev again. I really believe you have to try it. For a few reasons. Number one, Ron Hainsey cannot play that many minutes this year. You saw 3/4 of the season into the end of the year, he was exhausted. And in the playoffs, he was tired. Well, no way he's tired. The guy's playing almost 30 minutes a game, and he's 37 years old now. That can't happen this year. So I think you really got to relook Riley Zaitsev, and you want Zaitsev to live up to that contract, so you got to try and test him there. I think the second line would look as so. I think you look at a guy like Jake Gardiner and Travis Dermott, maybe, or Jake Gardiner, Ron Hainsey, maybe. And then Travis Dermott with Connor Carrick. I think that is what I'm going to be looking at as our top six. You got Riley and Nikita Zaitsev. Zaitsev had a great rookie year, but you need him to step up this season because he was terrible last year, plus he was injured a ton. It just didn't really work. Morgan Riley, you need him to be Morgan Riley. If he can get another 50-point year, there you go. Beautiful. Great job. That's what you want to see from Morgan Riley. In second line, you want to see Jake Gardiner continue to do what he did last year, except in the playoffs. Don't be an idiot. I mean, it's a tough time for him, but in the big situations, you got to find a way. And I think putting a guy like Ron Hainsey with Jake Gardiner, I think might be good. Last year you had Roman flipping Polak. That was terrible. Because Polak's gone now. He actually went to Dallas. I'm shocked that they actually signed him, but it happened. I think Jake Gardiner and Ron Hainsey would be a great mix. And then you look at Dermott and you look at Connor Carrick. I think they really complement each other very well. Both guys are more or less two-way defensemen. Dermott's more of the offensive guy, but he's smart. He knows when to pinch, and he's very smart with the puck. And when he gets, he's very good with that first pass out of the zone. Now, can Ron Hainsey go down to that third line and play with Connor Carrick and Dermott and Jake Gardiner? That might be interesting. I don't know how they would go together, but it's something you might see in preseason, guys. That's what preseason is for. Trial and error. See if things work. If they do, keep it rolling. If not, change it up. That's why you have preseason, and I'm excited. And is there any defensive surprises that I think will make any noise, I guess? Not really. A guy like Andrew Nielsen could be a guy at some point in the season, if any injuries occur, that could possibly come up and take a spot. Justin Hall is a guy that's probably going to be battling with Connor Carrick for that final spot, but I think as of right now, Connor Carrick has that spot. It's his spot to lose. Will it happen? We're going to have to wait and see, guys. But a guy like Justin Hall, I don't think Liljegren's coming up. I don't see Sandin. I don't see Sean Durzi coming up. I think those three guys are going to be down I think Sandin's going to be in Sweden, I think it is, playing for Rögle. And Durzi and Liljegren are going to be in the Toronto Marlies. And I think they should stay there the entire season. Let them play there, let them win, let them do their thing, maybe win another championship. And then the year after, with Ron Hainsey's contract leaving the books, and you'll be able to probably tell what's up with Connor Carrick by then. You could move him, and then you have a couple spots open for guys if they impress and do well and are ready for the big time, all right? Guys, those are my predictions for the season. Kind of talked a little about preseason. And yes, there will be preseason videos for each game like we do for the regular season. They will be for preseason. I'll be talking about guys that look good, some guys who didn't look good, what pairings that I liked, all that kind of stuff, all right? I'm jacked up to watch Leaf preseason. Bottom line, I'm just jacked up to see John Tavares in a Toronto Maple Leaf jersey on the ice in a game. That's what I'm excited for. Guys, I know you guys are pumped for the season. I am more than pumped for the year. Game 1 of the preseason goes on Tuesday, September 18th, 7:30 puck drop there in Toronto. And the regular season for the Toronto Maple Leafs kicks off, I think it's like October, is it the 4th? I think it is. October the 3rd against Montreal. Wednesday, October 3rd against the Montreal Canadiens. The rebuilding Montreal, kind of rebuilding Montreal Canadiens. So, guys, I might even live stream that. Let me know in the comments, guys, if you guys would be interested in a live stream for the first game of the regular season for the Leafs. I'm going to hear what you guys have to say about that. I am so excited. I know you guys are too. So you know what, guys? That is going to do it for this one. If you guys enjoyed this video and you guys are pumped for the 2018-19 season for the Toronto Maple Leafs, hit that like button. I do appreciate that. And the subscribe button if you guys have not already. Comment down below your lines, your goaltending situation, any dark horses for you heading into the season. I want to hear what you guys have to say. Give me everything about this upcoming season. How pumped are you at a scale of 1 to 10? Give me it. I want to hear what you guys have to say. And I will talk to you guys, well, I guess it'll be Jays edition tomorrow night as the Jays take on the Red Sox. And, yeah, that's that. I think Aaron Sanchez is getting the ball in Game 1 of that series against Chris Sale. Yippee. That's going to be fun. Guys, podcast will be uploaded tomorrow. No, wrong. Wednesday. I keep thinking today's Tuesday for some reason. Wednesday podcast edition. Link is in the description for the podcast channel and for the podcast itself on iTunes. Twitter is down below as well. Follow up, send me a DM, do all that great stuff. And I will talk to you guys Leafs edition. You're darn tootin'. I said it for the first time this year. Leafs edition, guys. I mean, maybe if William Nylander signs a contract, I'll talk to you guys then. But if not, I will talk to you guys September 18th as the Leafs open up their preseason against the Ottawa Senators at 7:30 in Lucan, Ontario, as the Leafs 2018-19 preseason starts. I am excited. I know you guys are. We'll talk to you guys then.